It was December of last year. I was sitting in class, and I was insanely bored. So I decided to make a list of my favorite movies, as you do. And I get to about 6, then I stop. I can't think of anything. So I go to Google, and I search best movies of all time. And as I'm scrolling through article after article, it quickly becomes clear that the best movies were made before 2000. I'm serious. Think of your favorite movie. I'm willing to bet that unless you're a young kid, your favorite movie was made before 2010, and probably 2000. Just quickly raise your hand if your favorite movie was made before 2010. Now keep your hand raised if it was made before 2000. Now quickly look around at how many hands are up. You can put your hands down. I'm Matt Hecker, and I personally find it awful that the best movies were made before 2000. I'm serious, it's nearly 2 decades worth of content, with exponentially better technology, yet worse movies. Why? Well, it boils down to something that modern movies lack. They lack the most important aspect of every great movie that makes it great: the creativity. The new thought, the new idea, the new concept that every great film is founded upon. Most movies nowadays simply don't have that. They're just the same story, repackaged and with flashier effects, but nothing else. And it's this lack of creativity that leads to a lack of quality. And there are many, many reasons for this lack of creativity, but there are 3 that stand out far beyond the others. The first is product placement, which is having a specific manufacturer's goods or services in a movie. The second is cash grab movies, which are movies made only for profit. And the third is unnecessary sequels, which are exactly what they sound like. Sequels that don't need to be made, and instead of furthering plot lines, use the franchise to get money. I personally have seen way too many movies, watched a lot of YouTube videos, and read so many articles. But most importantly, I sent emails to anyone I could find in the film industry. In the end, I talked with directors and actors, score composers and special effects companies, costume designers and set designers. I talked to the head of home division for Warner Brothers Studios and even an Emmy winner. And in the end, they all agreed that it's creativity that is so important, even though it's being consistently lacking. Let me elaborate. The first problem is product placement. Product placement occurs in nearly every movie nowadays and is honestly fine in movies that thrive on their sense of realism. But for movies that create an entirely new world for the viewer to immerse themselves in, all it does is pull the viewer out. For example, in Transformers: Age of Extinction, which is the 4th film in the franchise, product placement is sloppily shoved into the movie, and it really shows. There's a scene where a scientist discovers a new element that can change form at a user's command. It's a really interesting idea with so many possibilities, but the scientist transforms it into a Beats pill. It adds nothing to the film and actually pulls the viewer out. And it ruins the entire world that movie and its predecessors spent time building. The second problem is with the movie itself. It's not an intricate detail, it's not a blink and you'll miss it clue that only die-hard fans will notice. It's the idea that the movie is founded on. You see, so many movies nowadays are made solely for profit. They're made because they can be, and not because they should be. They have one-dimensional characters, a reused story, and no truly unique idea behind them. And I'll admit, this has made some pretty good movies, but for every one of them, there's an Angry Birds movie or an Emoji movie. They don't need to be made, they don't add anything new, but they bring a profit. You see, Universal Studios has produced 5 movies in only the first 4 months this year. And of those 4, only 1 scored above a 45 out of 100 on Rotten Tomatoes. Just 1 singular movie scoring above a 45. And the previously mentioned Emoji movie, an 8 out of 100. But hey, it made over $25.5 million in the opening weekend alone. Very similarly to these hugely successful yet unimaginative movies are sequels. According to IMDb, which is the Internet Movie Database, over the 5-year span of 2017 to 2022, 239 sequels will be produced. That is 48 sequels every year. Just to put that into perspective, there are roughly 600 movies made every year, which means that if you picked a movie at random over that 5-year period, the chances of you getting a sequel is 1 in 12. Let that sink in. 1 in 12. And according to Business Insider, the second highest grossing movie of all of 2017 was The Fate of the Furious. It's the 8th installment in the franchise and was unoriginal. Instead of furthering plot lines or adding anything new to the characters, it uses larger stunts, a random twist, and brand recognition to get money. And the twist even ruins the theme of family that all of the previous movies set up. Not only are movie makers selling their souls for the sake of monetary gain, but they're also ruining series as a whole. You see, when the film industry started, it was an art form. It was a way for creators to show who they were and what they believed in. It wasn't about money, it wasn't about popularity, it was about the movie and nothing else. And this, of course, led to much better movies. Movies like 2001: A Space Odyssey and Citizen Kane brought new and innovative ideas to the big screen. That simply can't be said about today's movies. We've all heard the phrase, a picture is worth 1,000 words and a video is worth 1,000 pictures. But that's simply not the saying anymore. Now the saying goes, a video is worth however much money it makes. Seriously, movies are being made only for profit and have been reduced to nothing more than a product. But we can change that. Because while product placement and unneeded sequels are ruining the film industry, we are the ones allowing it to be ruined. As a society, we are constantly consuming, whether it's a video game or social media or movies. We are in constant need of new media, and this forces film studios to produce more and more content, even if the content isn't good. We are the ones forcing this problem. But if we see fewer movies will be made. I know this may seem entirely counterintuitive, but it's really not. Because all of the problems that movies face stem from overproduction. Too many movies are being made, and it waters down the content. But if we see fewer movies will be made, and it'll give studios time to make sure that they're producing quality content. So what I want you to do is see less movies. I'm serious. Go do something else with your time. Hang out with friends, pursue a passion, spend time with family. And when you decide to go see a movie, make sure that it's one that you're truly interested in seeing. Don't just see it because you can, and it's Saturday night and you feel like it. Make sure that you really care about the movie you're seeing. Because by seeing fewer movies and consuming less in general, you can make a difference and change the film industry as a whole. Thank you.